In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of accessing college visit survey results in SCRIBE and then matching those survey results with a student enrollment export so that you have the student's name, school, and grade level all in the same file. So there are 3 steps to this process. The first one is accessing the survey results. We're going to do that by coming in SCRIBE from the home screen to Reports, Export, Evaluator Version, No Sensitive Information, and then down here to Open Survey Results Export. You want to make sure the correct school year is selected and that you've selected the Gear Up Maine College visit, and then click on Generate Report. From here, an Excel file will be generated. Going to open the Excel file, and we just need to make one little fix to this file before we start working with it. So I'm going to convert the MEDMS number, which is here in column E, from a text value to a numeric value. So I've got to scroll down here to the bottom of column E to the last value and click on it. And then scroll all the way up, selecting all of the fields in column E from the bottom up. And then click on the exclamation point and select Convert to Number. Now I can save this file. All right, so now we're ready for step 2. I'm going to minimize the open survey results for a moment. Again, we're back in SCRIBE. We need to generate the student enrollment export. So in SCRIBE, we go to Reports, Export with Sensitive Information, and then select the student enrollment export. From here, you want to make sure the correct school year is selected. You want to select the appropriate schools or district. And then everything else you can pretty much leave default. You can select grade levels if you choose to, but you don't have to. And then click on Generate Report. Again, this will generate an Excel file that you will be using as your reference file to look up the first name, last name, school name, and grade level. So now we're ready for step 3. So we want to make sure that we have both the open survey results export and the student enrollment export open on the screen. So I've got both files here, and I like to do this side by side. It just makes it a little bit easier for me, usually. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to insert some columns here in this open survey results export. So we're going to click on column A up here at the top, and then right-click Insert, and we're going to do that 4 times. So what that does is it inserts 4 columns for us in the survey results export. We're going to label those columns accordingly. Last name, first name, school name, and grade level. And I'm going to stretch those columns out a little bit so I can see them better. Perfect. Now we're ready to write the formula that's going to use the MEDMS ID in the student enrollment, in the open survey results export to look up the first name, last name, school name, and grade level in the student enrollment export. So the first thing we have to do is click on cell A2 and then come up here to the formula bar and type in the beginning of the formula, which is equals VLOOKUP open parenthesis. Now we're going to tell Excel where to look for the unique identifier that we want to match. So we're going to click on the cell that contains the very first MEDMS number, which happens to be I2. We're going to type comma after it. Now we need to tell Excel where to look for this MEDMS number to match. So we're going to click on cell A2 in the student enrollment export, and we're going to drag over all the way until we get to column AO, all the while selecting the data. And then we want to select all of those rows. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the file. So that's basically where Excel is going to look for the MEDMS number. So we're going to enter another comma. Now we have to tell Excel which field we want it to return. And we do that by telling it which column we want it to return. And so we want the third column because that's the last name. So we're going to type in 3. I can verify that by coming back over here and looking at my student enrollment export. And yes, I see column 1, 2, 3 is the last name. So coming back to my formula, the last part that I need to enter is the word false, and then close parenthesis. As you can see, Excel looked up the last name of the student with this MEDMS number in this file right here. Now I want to fill this formula all the way down, and I can do that by selecting the cell A2, bringing my mouse over here to the bottom right corner until I get this skinny crossbar without any arrows. And I'm going to double click, and that will fill my formula down. As you can see, there are some values that weren't able to match, and that's okay. That's what we want, actually. Those are records, responses from students who are not at our school. So we're going to sort the data by the last name, and we're going to delete all of the records that say #NA. #NA is how Excel is telling us that it can't match those records. So we're deleting those. Now we want to copy this formula over to column B, column C, and column D. And we can do that fairly easily with just a slight modification to the formula. We need to change the column number that's returned. We don't want the last name again in this column. We want the first name, which is in column 2. So we're going to come up to the formula bar and select the formula. We're going to copy that formula and then hit escape on your keyboard to deselect the formula. And then click B2, come up to your formula bar, right click, and then paste and hit enter. And so now Excel is pulling over the first name that goes along with the last name. Excel is actually pulling over the last name again because we didn't make the modification to the formula. We need to tell Excel that we need column 2 instead of column 3. So we're just changing the number 2 in front of the word false to, we're changing that to 2. So now we have the first name. We're going to fill down again by double clicking when we get that skinny crossbar. And now we're going to come over to C2, click the formula bar, right click, paste. This time we're going to change the 3 to 35 because school name is the 35th column in the student enrollment export. Click enter, fill down by getting that crossbar with no arrows and double clicking, and then come back over to grade level, paste the formula in the formula bar, change this number to 41, and now again hit enter, and then double click to fill down. And now, as you can see, you have all of the survey results for your school or district now matched with the first name, last name, school name, and grade level, so that you can follow up accordingly with students who might have questions or who might want to talk a little bit more about a particular college visit. If you have any questions about this process or pulling data from SCRIBE, you can contact the Gear Up main data team, or you can do a help ticket in SCRIBE. Thank you.